Next on the news, it's a move that directly contradicts church teaching and a blow to the pro-life cause. Governor Kathy Hochul announces she will sign the assisted suicide bill. We have team coverage.
Thank you, Governor Hochul. You just told people that there are occasions when it's okay to take your own life.
We can do better for vulnerable, elderly, and sick than giving them pills to end their lives.
Then a priest's personal collection will now bring joy to others this holiday season.
Behind me is Italian-American history at its most original. I'm Jessica Easthope with the Presepio, or nativity scene, that's Father Lou Scurti's gift to New York City this Christmas.
Plus, a heavenly birthday celebration for the People's Pope. We look back at the life, legacy, and faith of Pope Francis. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now.
I'm proud to announce that after weeks of negotiating with the legislature, we are now going to be making medical aid in dying available to New Yorkers going forward.
Tonight, bishops are calling it an attack against life. Governor Kathy Hochul has announced she will sign the assisted suicide bill into law once it's amended. The move follows years of intense discussion and strong opposition from Catholic leaders who continuously warned it threatens the dignity of human life. But now it is set. The Medical Aid in Dying Act will be passed and signed into law in January, with the law legalizing assisted suicide taking effect 6 months later.
There's a lot of religious conflict within me, the way I was raised and the issues, but I also have realized it's not about me. It's about 20 million New Yorkers.
New York taking a step that faith leaders say crosses a moral line. Governor Kathy Hochul has decided to make assisted suicide legal in the Empire State. The Medical Aid in Dying Act was passed by both houses of the state legislature back in the spring. It gives terminally ill people with less than 6 months left to live the right to medical aid to end their lives, or, as Governor Hochul put it, speed up the inevitable. Dennis Paust from the New York State Catholic Conference says the governor is making a grave miscalculation.
We can do better for vulnerable, elderly, and sick than giving them pills to end their lives. We can make them comfortable. And that's the bottom line. It's not up to us to end lives of others or to encourage people to end their own lives.
Catholics across the state have been speaking out against this assisted suicide bill, even holding vigils in the cold outside of the governor's office, hoping to persuade the Catholic governor to veto it. Hochul says she considered the belief of many that euthanasia violates the sanctity of life and that she respects those views. However, the governor says she believes this law isn't about shortening life, but rather shortening dying.
My own father was diagnosed with 6 months to live and lived for 2.5 years. Doctors make mistakes. God takes us when he's ready, and our job as loved ones is to walk with those as they're dying.
New York is now the 13th U.S. jurisdiction to legalize physician-assisted suicide. It's already legal in California, Oregon, Washington, Montana, Vermont, Colorado, Hawaii, Maine, New Jersey, New Mexico, Delaware, and Washington, D.C. Hochul says the bill allows individual doctors and religiously affiliated health facilities to decline to offer medical aid in dying, and that she's proposing additional guardrails to protect those with disabilities and the elderly from being pressured into a decision they would not have made on their own. These protections include input from a medical doctor, a psychologist, and a 5-day waiting period. But for the faithful, that's still not good enough.
We were very clear with the governor's council all along that there are no amendments that they could offer that would make this acceptable to us, because we see it as a fundamental moral evil on par with abortion or the death penalty or other attacks on human life.
The bishops of the Empire State are, quote, extraordinarily troubled about Governor Kathy Hochul's decision, saying in a statement the new law signals our government's abandonment of its most vulnerable citizens. They went on to say that Catholics shouldn't give up the pro-life fight. We must clearly reiterate that it is in direct conflict with Catholic teaching on the sacredness and dignity of all human life from conception until natural death, and is a grave moral evil on par with other direct attacks on human life. We call on Catholics and all New Yorkers to reject physician-assisted suicide for themselves, their loved ones, and those in their care. And we pray that our state turn away from its promotion of a culture of death and invest instead in life-affirming, compassionate hospice and palliative care, which is seriously underutilized. Joining me now to talk more about Governor Hochul's decision is Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan. Hi, Bishop.
Hi, Christine.
So, Bishop, Catholics in New York had a glimmer of hope that assisted suicide wouldn't be legalized. The bill was originally passed by both houses in June. Governor Hochul waited months to finally make this decision. So, how do you feel about it?
Well, very simply, it's wrong. There's no way about it. It's the taking of a human life, advocating the taking of a human life. And when you look at some of the experiences of violence just this week, this is just one more disregard for human life. And we just chip away and chip away at it. We're a society that really has lost a sense of the dignity of human life.
And Governor Hochul, who, as we mentioned, is Catholic, says she considered the sanctity of life when making this decision, but she ultimately felt she does not believe, and this part is a quote, condemning someone to excruciating pain and suffering preserves the dignity and sanctity of life. But that's not what the church is teaching, right?
Well, she's trying to muddy the waters a little bit. It's not a matter of assisted suicide or nothing. There are ways of, with respect for the dignity of human life, of helping somebody in their pain and in suffering, and the taking of human life is not how did she put it, a sentencing to somebody to pain and suffering. That's just bogus. This is artificial language to try to justify something that's wrong. And I'll say something else more pointedly. She spoke about this as a moral and religious issues. Well, you know what? It is moral. It is a moral issue, but it's not a religious issue. This is just an objective, moral, right or wrong issue. And then she says, but then I have to set aside my religious beliefs. Again, then that I don't advocate that for anybody, no matter what your faith is. You have to stand behind what you profess. We've had that argument already when it comes to abortion with her. So that language doesn't surprise me, but it's certainly not justifiable.
Governor Hochul is adding some amendments to the bill, including confirmation from a psychologist that the patient is capable of making the decision and a 5-day waiting period in case someone changes their mind. Is this enough? Are we still on that slippery slope?
Forget about a slippery slope. That's not enough. Does that change the fact that you're taking somebody's life? How do you compromise on that? There was also some language about conscience protection and all of that. Well, I'm glad that's in there, but you know what? That's not a concession. That's a right. I expect that. I don't thank her. I should thank you for not forcing me to go against my conscience. No, you can't go against your conscience. It's like on something like this. That's just very wrong.
So what do you say to pro-life Catholics who may feel disheartened by this news?
Well, I have two messages. One, for the pro-life Catholics, we're not surprised. We're not surprised. But we have to continue to move forward with faith and hope. The real issue is we have a job to do to transform a culture. We have to promote a transformation in the culture. And that's the real task ahead of us. Again, there are glimmers of hope. We're finding light in the darkness. We're in the season of finding light in the darkness. So that's my message to pro-life Catholics. But I do have one other message for the governor, because it's not, again, going back to just the moral issue, but even on a practical level. Where rightly she has said so often that we face a suicide crisis in this state among young people. Thank you, Governor Hochul. You just told people that there are occasions when it's okay to take your own life. Forget about slippery slope. That's just a message that's been sent loud and clear. There are times when life is not worth living, and even the justification, because the pain is excruciating. I know a lot of people who are living in pain, a lot of different kinds of pain. Nice message to send at this time of the year.
Absolutely. Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Currents News will be right back, but before we go, we want to ask the Lord for his intercession to help those who could be affected by this bill. Nativity scenes come in all shapes and sizes, but one priest's personal collection of figurines grew so large it could fit in a museum. So that's exactly where you'll find it this Christmas, at the Italian-American Museum in Lower Manhattan. Currents News' Jessica Easthope met him for a sneak peek of the Presepio.
Oh, look at the cheese, the mozzarella, all of it. It's like an addict standing outside of the bar.
Father Lou Skirty doesn't hide his addiction.
Fruit and a little kitchen in the bottom.
He's been feeding it for close to 70 years, and now it's bigger than himself.
Oh, Madonna, it's the Presepio.
This is Father Lou's addiction come to life.
Look at this.
And this came from my parents' Presepio.
His personal collection of nativity figures called a Presepio. Now it lives at the Italian-American Museum in Lower Manhattan.
Yes, it's a passion. Yes, it's a hobby. But it might be also an addiction, but that's all right. I enjoyed this addiction.
It's Father Lou's gift to New York City this Christmas and every Christmas to come.
I'm ecstatic, and I invite the public to get a flavor for our history and the very sacred story of the birth of Jesus.
Father Lou is a retired priest from the Diocese of Paterson, now ministering at St. Anthony of Padua in Soho.
And here's this little boy.
Over the years, finding the perfect statues for the Presepio has taken him to all corners of the globe.
This came from Tangiers, France, Peru, China, and a lot of the European countries.
But it started.
That's an Uncle Jimmy one.
Under his Uncle Jimmy's Christmas tree in Jersey City.
My Uncle Jimmy, he would put the Christmas music on. My grandmother would come out and feed me, and I'd be under the tree playing with these figures.
In the faces of these figures, Father Lou sees the main figures in his own life. This gift that flows through generations of family tradition is in memory of them.
All of my families, my own Presepios, my grandparents, pieces from all of our traditions are here.
Father Lou says there's beauty in the imperfection, and the details are what really shine. But the focus remains the same.
As Jesus is the root of all of this, this is a celebration of the Word made flesh.
As tourists flood New York City this Christmas season, Father Lou has high hopes for the museum's visitors.
It should warm their hearts, bring them back in history to their own origins, and of course, to the birth of Jesus.
The Presepio belongs to the museum now, but Father Lou's heart lives among these statues. His love for them, for Christmas, and his collection
I'll be back.
still grows. In Lower Manhattan, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Father Lou's Presepio can be visited at the Italian-American Museum now through the Feast of the Epiphany. The museum, located at 151 Mulberry Street in Lower Manhattan, is open Thursday through Saturday from 12 to 5 p.m. It's hard to have a silent night in the city that never sleeps, but Catholics can find the true meaning of Christmas in Central Park. For 30 years, New Yorkers and tourists alike have paused here at the Catholic League Nativity in Central Park. You won't find any political statements or frills, just the Holy Family in a major scene. At a time of year when it's easy to get distracted by the city's lights and Christmas displays, the Catholic League says the simple Nativity still stops people in their tracks.
It helps remind them that Jesus is at the center of the season. It's not just about buying presents and Santa Claus and candy canes.
Some feeling of belonging to the Catholic Church and the Catholic League, and they're very, very proud of it.
And the different mangers I see in the different churches I've stepped into is the world's walking by them. And the world's missing out on the most important thing they could find. It's Jesus.
The Nativity will be on display at Central Park South on the corner of 59th Street and 5th Avenue through January 4th. Pope Leo XIV remembered the reason for the season on Tuesday as he joined children for a Christmas concert. More than 200 students from the Pontifical Paul VI School in Castel Gandolfo performed for the Pontiff and their parents in the school gym. The set list including Christmas carols in Italian, English, Latin, and Spanish. After the show, the Holy Father expressed his gratitude for the performance and reminded the kids of the true meaning of Christmas.
Dio ha voluto comunicare a tutti noi il dono dell'amore. Questo è Natale, Dio che ha voluto avvicinarsi a noi, soprattutto ai più piccoli. Questo spirito che stiamo celebrando già questa sera e nei prossimi giorni, nel Natale, magari sia tutto l'anno che possiamo sentire e vivere questo amore del Natale.
The students also gave the Pope a gift, his own school uniform and a tennis racket. And finally tonight, we want to wish a happy first heavenly birthday to Pope Leo's predecessor, Pope Francis. The Argentinian would have been 89 today. In years past, the Holy Father would have had some party at the Vatican, getting either a large pizza or a birthday cake. The People's Pope also liked to spend his birthday with those he sought to serve, the poor, the vulnerable, and young people. The Holy Father now celebrates his birthday in heaven, and we hope he is enjoying his day. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Before we go, in honor of his birthday, we want to take a look back at the extraordinary life of Pope Francis. Hope to see you again next time.